Yeah. Lights low, mics high. Yeah, let's get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick-tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Clock, clock, yeah. Typically new, neon signs glow, brick wall behind me. Headlines loud, but they never define me. They rush the story, skip the proof. I slow it down, let it show the truth. Files on deck, read every line. Timestamps matter, so does time. If it don't fit, I don't force the frame. Ask one question, whole story change. No fear my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Read it again. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet, but the pages speak.
It's time to clock in. Crime o'clock starts now.
Screenshot save, timeline's tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say you're late, did I say why? If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Typically unique. It's crime o'clock. Yeah. If you're here, you're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
It's time to clock in. Crime o'clock starts now.
Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. It's 11:30 and we are clocking in for our daily, I'm going to start a daily true crime clock in, check-in show. So today's focus is on the Nancy Guthrie case. It is deadline day. So if you've been following the disappearance, kidnapping, not sure exactly what has happened to Nancy Guthrie, this is day 9. And we're going to cover all the updates from over the weekend, what's going on today. Supposedly today is the second deadline that was set from the kidnappers. There have been 2 ransom notes received. I believe there were 2. And I believe the time is 5 p.m. today, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'm on Eastern Time. That would be about 8 o'clock tonight. There's also supposed to be a press conference today, I believe at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to stay on here and wait for that press conference to begin and see see what their updates are for today. So I talked about the deadline for today. Over the weekend, oh my goodness, there has been a second response from the children. I want to compare that second response to the first one because I definitely think there was a mood change. Hey, Lucy, how are ya? Yeah, $6 million granny. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that amount has changed because we're going to look at that second response. And like I was saying, I think the vibes around if a lot of people are not thinking that the outcome is going to be very good. I will just say that. So also that Marina O'Connell, that is the former FBI agent, I love her. I also found her commenting on the Idaho 4 case from back in the day. So tomorrow I'll probably do some Idaho 4 coverage and look and see what her thoughts were at that time, because I really like what she's saying about this Nancy Guthrie case. So yes, I like her and the way she talks, but she seems somebody that's, I don't know, just her insights. So, all right. So let's start with, well, I'm waiting for a few people to get in here. So I'm going to start with something kind of not funny, but, so my theme for this show is going to be like clocking in and things with clocks and things like that. I don't know if you guys have teenagers or young adults around, but have you seen this? Click it, click it, click it. Not really clock related, I guess, kind of clock it, click it. My daughter and her friend do that all the time, and I think it's funny and I love it. So I'm gonna show you this thing that explains it, and there is an emoji for it, but I cannot. My daughter sends it to me all the time. It's an emoji, with the going like this with the fingers, and I save it as a sticker, and I can't get it to show up in my emojis. So I'll have to make my own. I'll make my own so we have it on here. All right, let's see if this will show. This explains it. I can't tell if that showed or not. Did it show? Hey, Mike, let me do this. Maybe open it in a new tab. Will it open in a new tab? Open link. There we go. Nope. Why aren't you showing? Oh, I got to do, hold on.
This right here means to clock it. Clock it is a form of recognizing something or noticing something and acknowledging it. If someone is calling something out with a sense of awareness or judgment and you agree with it, you do this because that person is clocking that T.
Clocking that
This
T, okay.
right here is a
all right, we're going to clock that T.
And this are two different things. Some of you all don't know the difference and it shows, but that's okay because we're going to walk through it together.
Please educate us.
This right here means to clock it.
I know,
Clock it is a form of recognizing something or noticing something and acknowledging it.
Cool.
If someone is calling something out with a sense of awareness or judgment and you agree with it, you do this because that person is clocking that T.
Clocking that
This
T, okay.
right here is a form of an applause.
All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. My daughter is probably going to be like, cringe that you showed that. I don't care. I don't care. All right. All right. So you guys have probably seen the first message that the children of Nancy Guthrie gave. Pause. Okay. So the first message, right? They are sitting on the couch, and Savannah was super emotional. And when we watched Maureen O'Connell on my last live, the former FBI agent, she was talking to Brian Etten, and she was giving her like her take on watching the body language. And she just said Savannah had such a normal emotional response to what is going on. And she spoke about so she analyzed Savannah, she analyzed the brother. She's like, the brother's stoic, but still looks sad. She said nothing about the sister. And I thought that was telling. And we discussed all that on my previous live. So since that first video from the children, they received another ransom note. I do have a video from KOLD that received it, and the person at that station speaks on it a little bit, and she tells a little of what's in it. So we're gonna look at that. And hey Brooke, hey Ro, good morning, you guys, if it's morning for you. The second response from the children, just totally like 180 for me, 180. So let's watch it real quick. You might have seen it already, but let's watch it and see what stands out to us. Is it this one? This one? All right. Share.
Beg you now to return our mother. We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. We received your message and we understand. We beg you now.
Okay, so right there, we received your message and we understand. So the kidnappers, let me know in the chat, do you think there really are is this legitimately a kidnapping situation? Do you think that? Do you think maybe she was killed right away and this is like I don't know what, like still a cover for trying to get something out of it? Is it a total hoax? What do you guys think? So they got some kind of message. We understand. And look at the tone of how they're talking. To me, and again, might be reading too much into it, but I think that they found out she's not alive anymore. That's my take.
To return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
To return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. Now that's kind of giving that still hope. So maybe that's, she is still alive and hope. Or did she just say like we want to celebrate her, but she didn't want to say it that way because she's putting it out there to the world and mainstream media. Maybe they wanted to keep that, still that fact hidden, that this isn't completely over. What do you guys think? Let's see. SRB says, part of me feels like it's just their way of buying time. Yes, I've heard a lot about that. Because didn't they put this out, let's see, Saturday? And so, yeah, it bought them like 2 more days, supposedly, for this deadline. Question here from Lucy. Do you think that this entire situation isn't a distraction? Totally. I mean, I think this situation has really happened, but I think that, our government, our government isn't supposed to control our media. We're supposed to have a free, society of media. But when you look at the ownership of the mainstream media companies, they are either huge donors to certain political parties, or they have, you know, some connection like that. So I do believe that the narrative of what gets put on these news stations, and I say that because a lot of major anchors on some of these news stations have quit because they felt like their voice was taken away. So a lot of them are on YouTube now and TikTok, and so that they can have more freedom about what they report on. So yeah, Lucy, I don't think it was designed to distract from that, but they'll use it. They'll use it for sure. Anything that comes up. That's my opinion. Yeah, with her. So, you know, who knows? And is it Sony Ratcliffe? Sunny Ratcliffe? Let me know. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Typically Unique, Crime O'Clock. I'm going to start doing this every weekday at 11:30. Hope you'll join us back. If Savannah saw life, the law would not be searching. It seems, I've heard a lot of comments about it's now like a recovery. So that'll be something we're trying to sort out today. One thing I still don't know is, did the kidnappers ever give a way to actually pay? It sounds like it because we've heard Bitcoin, and I think I have a clip too where they demanded USD, which I guess when I heard that, I thought, oh, you know, United States, but I guess that makes them believe that they're out of the country. So I don't really understand a lot about that, but that's what the experts said. What did I want to show next? I was in the middle of playing this. Let's look at what she says next.
This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us.
Okay, this is the only way we will have peace. Of course, getting your mother back is going to give you peace, but if you know that she has not made it and she's out there somewhere, I guess either way you could interpret that. Either way, I mean, not knowing where someone is, oh my goodness, a stress that I personally go through every day. It's a personal story for me. Some of you know about it. We've shared a little bit on some of our older videos that have the orange thumbnails. So if you are curious and you want to know about some of that, you can, but either way, not knowing is horrible, and they're asking for, you know, the only way they're going to get peace.
And we will pay. We received your message.
Okay, they will pay. Are they gonna, do you guys think they're gonna pay $6 million? That's what they asked for. $6 million. I mean, of course. I mean, we all say yes. And if you have it, right? What if you're like, you know, just like most of us, I'm sure, like, you know, day by day, you know, living life out here in the struggle. What do you do? What do you do? I mean, maybe you wouldn't be in that situation because they're gonna know that you can't squeeze something out of people that don't have it, but clearly Savannah has it. Let's see some more comments. Oh, you guys are responding to each other. I mean, at this point, they will pay even if she's no longer with us, just to have her back. Of course. Yeah. Of course. I just keep thinking, how's this exchange going to go down? Like one of you just asked, like, have they made arrangements for payment? And if they can verify, like they verified the Bitcoin wallet. I don't understand how all that works. I know there's wallets and I don't know. all the mining and all that stuff. They were able to verify that that account is real. Is that it? Do you think they can track further? Like, don't you think they can? And even the email, like the ransom note emails that got sent into news stations, they have to be able to track that stuff. Lucy, I don't understand that comment. Not calling who? I'm not sure of those initials. I think they will leave her somewhere and take off. That's what I keep thinking too. She might already just be in a location, the mother, Nancy. She might be somewhere, and if she's alive, maybe the kidnappers will just leave, and then when they're way far away, they'll tell them where to go. Or if she has not made it, her body could be somewhere all this whole time. The law enforcement has been searching her house and outside her house and finding new things. Some of those things, it seems like, came in the new second message. So let's look at this update. I think this one might show or tell us a little bit about the second message. Wait, is that in my playlist? It's in my playlist. Let me find it. I'm bouncing back and forth between links that I linked for myself and a playlist that I made. Okay. I know I got to share it. I know it's not sharing. It's like 3 degrees outside, and our garbage truck guys are coming to pick. I feel so bad for them. I could not imagine riding around outside in this. It's so cold here. I keep some of my drinks, like my green teas and soda and stuff like that, in my garage, and some of them are frozen solid. That sounds like a joke. It's so cold that... All right, let's listen to this update. This was super early this morning, I believe.
A series of notes sent to a local TV station and TMZ. One that was sent on Tuesday was a ransom note. We know it had 2 deadlines, one for Thursday at 5 p.m., a different deadline looming tomorrow, and it demanded a certain amount of Bitcoin. That ransom note included some details about a broken floodlight in Nancy Guthrie's home, details about the placement of a smartwatch inside of her home that has led authorities to believe there is a chance that it might have been written by somebody who is actually inside of the home, that it might be a legitimate ransom note. Then on Thursday, we saw, or rather on Friday, we saw another message sent to KOLD from an author who may have been the potential abductor of Nancy Guthrie. I have not seen that second message, but Jessica Bubala, the news director at KOLD, has. I want you to hear what she has to say about that second message.
Okay, so that second message came in Friday. So that kind of makes sense. So Thursday was the first deadline, which I don't understand having 2 different deadlines. What do you guys think is up with that? Why 2 deadlines? Like maybe a deadline to respond, and then like a deadline for payment, a deadline for arrangements, and then a deadline for the transaction. 2 deadlines. There's been a lot of speculation by former law enforcement people that typically when there is a kidnapping, the ransom note is left at the same time. And the delay from Saturday night when this happened, Saturday 9 days ago, to getting the ransom note, I think it was Monday, wasn't it? that seemed odd. So that's why there's been a lot of questions about this ransom note. All right, let's see what they say about this Friday. Ransom note. This is the lady from KOLD.
The other thing that we can share is that there is something inside the note that we believe the sender is thinking would indicate to investigators that it is the same people who sent the first note. When we received that first note and we saw that last line that talks about the watch and the floodlight, we believed that as well. We believed that that was something that they thought would indicate to investigators who were at the, people who were also at the scene, that perhaps that they were at the scene, and that would legitimate that, make that note legitimate.
So, Alex, I can't stress enough that we do not know what investigators.
Okay, so there were things in the ransom note that made the investigators believe these people were really at the scene. So they mentioned a watch in the house, and I believe this was in the Friday note. And what was the other thing they said? The floodlight getting broken. And I kind of think there was something else in that ransom note, because they checked either like a septic tank hole, some kind of water storage hole, a sewer hole. I don't know. Mike, if you're still in here, maybe with your, I don't know, if your information, like your background, maybe you can, when you see it, maybe give your take on what you think it is. I am sure that Savannah has like double-digit millions, I think. I want to say 40 million, but we were also talking about Nancy Grace the other night, so I don't know if I got it confused with her or not. Yeah, this situation tells us that mass surveillance programs have wholly failed, right? Here's a question, and I thought later when we're waiting for the press conference to start, we could have a big discussion. I've got some things, but why has there been, so there has to be a car of interest besides the brother-in-law if it's not the brother-in-law. Someone in that area had to have had a camera. And I know it's dark, but I mean, they would still have porch lights, and some cameras do infrared. I set mine at infrared. So that doesn't matter how dark it gets outside. Your camera alone will put on its own light to capture what is moving out there. So I do know that. If there's not camera footage in the neighborhood, is it once you get to a major intersection? I mean, there's just got to be some other vehicle that's been caught. Oh, thanks, SRB, for fact checking me. 40 million. I thought I heard that. All right, let's see what else this was kind of like a weekend little update. So this guy's at the scene. And like I said, all weekend, they kept going to Nancy's house and then also to the sister's house. And they went into Annie's house. I don't know if it was Friday night or Saturday night. And actually, it seemed like a crime scene team. They had gloves on. They went into the sister's house. They took some things out. One looked like a board. They had a bag of stuff. That's what happened at the sister's house. At Nancy's house, they took photos, and the reporters that are all out there at the scene, they could tell they were taking photos because they could see the camera flashes going off.
Were looking for just an hour and a half ago when they re-entered that home. However, there is at least the possibility that they may have been looking at something that may have been mentioned on that latest message sent to KOLD earlier this week, but that's something we just don't know right now. Alex?
Yeah, okay. Stay with us, Alex, because we're going to bring into the conversation criminologist Casey Jordan. So, Casey, what do you make of the new police activity today? What might they be looking for? And why aren't they sharing more information on the case right now? Does it tell you they're at a sensitive time?
It definitely does. But it also indicates, again, as we all keep saying, there is so much to this that we don't know. What were those details that were in the latest communication? I mean, we have been waiting, hoping for proof of life. And we do understand from KOLD that the system, the server that accepts emails, which is how the communication was received to them, does not accept photos or videos. So it had to be a text message. Now, that is not to say it didn't include perhaps a URL that could take them to a video, but there is.
Isn't that weird? The news station can't accept photos or videos. So clearly this was not a normal email situation. Do news stations have some kind of special thing? I'm going to look into that. I got to write that down. Do news stations have some kind of special communication system that people, clearly they want this to be anonymous. And clearly news stations would want, they want the tea, right? They want the lead on something. So they're going to, I'm sure, set up something that they can get these anonymous information. So I want to look up news station communication systems. That's weird. I still think that, like, the FBI they have access to things that can break through all that. What do you guys think?
No indication that there has been proof of life. And what you do expect is that there were other details in there that made police go on these searches in different places. We know they have been at Nancy's daughter's Annie's house. We know they have been back at Nancy's house itself. There's more looking, I believe, in the desert. I mean, it looks as if they are on a search and recovery mission at this point, more than a search and rescue.
Well, I had not been told that before, and that's something that, strikes heartache for all of us who care about this story so much. And Savannah, but again, this is pure speculation, so let's make that really clear.
So she was saying there hasn't been any proof of life, right? Hi, Canadian Cat Lady. Good to see you. I know I have a lot of people that have come in that I have to say hello to. Kathleen Bell. True. Hello. Sleuther75. Hello. Canadian Cat Lady, you made me laugh with this for a personal reason, but you said, yes, there's a way of emailing just by putting random words in the heading of emails without being figured out, so they say. And I had to laugh because as a former 6th grade teacher, even though I did lesson after lesson on how to correctly write emails, and if any of you are teachers or former teachers in the chat, let me know. They will write the whole message in the topic, in the topic line. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's what the kidnappers did. Surveillance doesn't work well in air. I don't know about surveillance doesn't work well, at least in Arizona. It does. So it does work well in Arizona. Yeah, those of you that remember the O.J. Simpson case, when they showed the front of her house with just like the porch area, it did give that, does remind me of that. Yeah. Oh, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Okay.
When you
Absolutely.
looked at the new video from the Guthries, what does the difference in tone from their previous statements indicate to you?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we kind of are speculating that the family has accepted or resigned themselves to the worst case scenario. It is not just based on the tone of their message, but also their body language and the actual textual analysis of their message. I think it's not even 40 words, less than 20 seconds. It is straight to the point, and it does not ask for proof of life, and it does not ask for her safe release. They use the word return. And when Savannah reads the words, we received your message and we understand, her sister Annie looks like she is about to have a nervous breakdown because of what they understand. And again, this is just an interpretation, but most people who watch this message do believe that when they talk about celebrating with her, they mean a celebration of life. Everyone hopes I'm wrong. Everyone hopes Nancy is returned alive. But there seems to be a shift in tone with this last message, which means that they will pay for any information, and they want their mother back in any state, any condition.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Look, I will say, I appreciate what you're saying with your experience. It's also sometimes hard to interpret.
On behalf of our family.
All right, I think that clip ended. Did you guys notice? I saw a clear difference between Savannah in the first message. I mean, understandably, she was an emotional wreck during that one. I mean, I wouldn't say a wreck. She held it together. She held it together, but she was truly very emotional. In this one, she's seen, just even the way she looks, and I wouldn't call it like a relief. It's like a has she come to an understanding? Has she had to deal with, make sense of something and come to a realization? I just saw that look about her. So it's either, I could see her looking like that if, yes, we got proof of life, but this news reporter is saying no, and I've heard that all over the place. Like, they have not gotten that. So then you would think it must be the other. And even though it's a bad outcome, a lot of people will say not knowing is worse, right? Not knowing. So, maybe they got that information and they know where they stand, and now they're just trying to get her back, Let's see, Kathleen. It's okay to disagree. Oh, you think all the family? I was going to bring that up because the sister, like the reporter on there said she looked like she was going to have a nervous breakdown. She did do a face of, I'm going to cry, but I'm going to hold back my cry. I don't want to, I don't know, nitpick so much on that because there's been so many cases where everybody went to town on body language of family members, and then they turned out to be completely innocent. So it's hard to tell with that. Is Savannah the oldest? I do not know that. I assumed maybe not. Let me look real quick. I mean, the sister kind of gives off older sister vibes, doesn't she? Whoops. You know what else is interesting? Have any of you seen any news segments with Savannah's husband on it? Maybe the brother's the oldest. I'm looking it up right now. Okay. She's the youngest. Savannah is the youngest of three. She has an older sister, Annie, and an older brother, Cameron. It doesn't say which one is the oldest. If anybody wants to clarify that further, but good question. All right, I think that ended. Yeah, that went on to something else. Okay, stop that one. Hey, Beach Babe, how are you? Is it Tom Axe 99, Tomax 99. Hello. Good to see you. You think Annie? Yeah, Annie's definitely older, but I don't know if she's the oldest. Maybe you're saying she's the oldest. All right. If I missed anybody saying hello, I'm sorry. Hello. All right. We're going to look at that Brian Etten. So Brian Etten did a video and he was talking about the detective being inside the house over the weekend. And I believe it's at Annie's house. So what we know about Annie so far is they took her car for processing, but they kept it, I believe. So it's not only kept for do they always keep, if they process your car, do they keep it? I don't know. I don't think they keep Eric Gower's car. Oh, I just closed out of my whole YouTube that I got to get back into. That's okay. I can do it real fast. To get back to my playlist. Do you guys have playlists for all the cases that you follow? That's what I do. I make a playlist for every case so that I can find the videos. There it is. And now I got to share it. There is a press conference today. Hello, Jessie Lynn. It is supposed to be 11 a.m. Are they on Mountain Time? So it's 1 p.m. here, I believe, Eastern Time. Do I have that right? That's what I heard someone say. I'm gonna, I believe that KOLD news station that got one of the Ransom notes, got the one on Friday. They're going to stream it, I believe.
Of course, I'm still in Arizona. I'm outside Nancy Guthrie's house right here. It's been some action here today. There's more deputies than we've seen here in the past. You can see them out here, right here. And earlier, there was actually a team that came in and it was looking in a septic tank behind the house, which I'm going to get into in this episode. I'm also going to go over everything that I saw late last night at Annie Guthrie's house when the deputies showed up there. And I have and this is really helpful, I have a Pima County sheriff's detective who just recently retired. And he is going to help me break down a lot of what we're seeing. It's all coming up in this episode of Brian Ensign. All right, hey guys. So again, I'm outside Nancy's house. If you're wondering what this big white thing is, this is what we use for our TV hits. And it's so hot out here today. It's so sunny that I was just going to do my my show under this too, because at least it's shady, you know. But it's been there's been a lot of activity over the last 24 hours. Obviously, there was the Savannah Guthrie new video that she made where she said she's willing to pay. And again, my heart just goes out to her and her family. The whole thing is just, I was just talking to one of my colleagues out here. I'm super close to my mom. I'm an only child. And if this was my mom, I would just be wrecked. So the strength that Savannah Guthrie is showing is pretty incredible. And so my heart goes out to her and her family. But in terms of the latest and everything that's been happening here outside Nancy Guthrie's house, there's been some action today. And depending on when you're watching this, today is Sunday. There were some deputies that showed up earlier and then were in the backyard or behind Nancy Guthrie's house and opened up what looked like a manhole cover and then had a long stick that they were pushing into the manhole cover, which it seems like it's a septic tank. A few of you all messaged me and said you thought that it was a water tank. I'm not really sure. One of my sources was telling me normally they would use that pole to, again, it sounds kind of, sounds kind of graphic, but they would use it to like probe for a body to see if there's anything down there. So they were doing that. That seemed to be their main focus today when they were out here, and they were here for about an hour and then left. And besides that, it's been relatively quiet here at Nancy Guthrie's house, besides just sort of deputies patrolling the area. And they
have you guys been watching any of the live feeds outside her house? I mean, JLR's been there for hours and hours. I know there's other mainstream stations, probably other YouTube channels that have been out there. What do you guys think about not seeing any other family members? Like the only time we've seen family members is when they're responding to the ransom note. Would you handle it that way? I mean, probably they're following what law enforcement has advised them, but it seems like Savannah's husband is a pretty prominent person. I'm not sure what field he works in. But someone said his name was in an email in the files, if you know. So yeah, I would think, but I haven't seen him speak. The grandchildren, they're not getting more people out there to plea, right? To plea for her. So I think that's kind of I mean, every family is going to be different. Been watching In and Out. Yeah. Hi, Christy. Christy, Nevada. Good to see you. Oh, geez, Christy. Yeah, I was going to pull up Twitter just to like keep an eye on that. I should do that. All right, so Brian's going to tell us a little bit more about what happened yesterday. So this is Sunday.
have still been canvassing and going door to door and that kind of thing, just looking for anybody who has any information. There was also a lot of activity last night at Annie Guthrie's house. If you were following me, I was posting a lot on YouTube stories and on TikTok because I was out there late last night. Basically, we got word that there were these 3 deputies that showed up to Annie Guthrie's house. We didn't know, at first I didn't know if they were like FBI or deputies, but when they left, I was able to look and see they had like a deputy logo on their side. And they were there for 3 hours. There were three of them from what I could count. They showed up, they went inside and they had some equipment that they brought inside. And then we could see flashes from inside. We could see light flashes, which they were taking pictures inside.
Can you guys hear it? Hey, Lori. I hope you're staying warm. It's freezing. Okay. Yeah, I know Lana was having that issue too with sound. You can hear it? Okay. Okay. If you can't hear it, leave and come back in. That seems to be the fix.
It was pretty obvious. At first, they were just taking pictures near the garage area. I could see through the windows, but then I was watching and you could see they were moving throughout the house. They were taking pictures in different parts of the house. They were there for about 3 hours. They had blue gloves on, I noticed when they came out. And after being there for 3 hours, came out, got in the cars, didn't say a word, and then slowly drove off. So the timing is interesting because remember, this was happening around the same time that, or a little bit after that Savannah Guthrie had put her video out, you know, saying that they would be willing to pay. And I can read, you've probably seen the video by now, but what she said was, I wrote down the verbatim. She said,
you better duck. It's going to be 80 degrees. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Just a little side note. I got to go to Mexico with Carlos last week. So, it was I didn't get to go, oh my gosh. I didn't get to go to a beach or anything like that. It was business. So I mostly just hang out at the hotel and, still was able to do videos and things like that. And you would think, oh, Mexico, it's going to be like 80s. No, the weather is so weird there because where I was, there's a mountain range. And so it would be 30s or 40, like 40s mostly overnight. So 40s in the morning. And then quickly heat up by like 11 a.m. to like 70s, 60s, 70s. One day it was 83. So I literally just sat out in the parking lot and just let the sun beat on me because I love the sun. Oh my goodness. All right, he's also talking about Savannah's second message.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us and we will pay. A lot of people have read into this that they think Nancy is not alive based on what Savannah said there. I'm not sure. I mean, we could read into it a million different ways, but it's just tragic regardless of what way you read into it. And that video came out, and then afterwards is when the deputies showed up at Annie Guthrie's house. What they're looking for there, I don't know. I didn't see them searching outside at all. They seemed pretty focused on the inside, and were they just taking pictures inside? I'm not sure. But it was interesting timing. It was interesting that they came there late at night. And sorry, I'm just checking for one other thing I want.
So these are, and I think I heard someone say it was a forensic team that went into the sister's house. And this was sometime over the weekend. I don't know if Brian just said it and I missed it. And I've been watching this constantly, so I can't remember. It might have been last night. I don't know. But they came out. I'm going to rewind this a little bit. Look at what they're carrying. I don't think it's very telling, but okay. So right there, you can see a brown paper bag. And then someone said that looked like a folding table, but maybe is that some type of container that they have a kit in that they use for something, for testing? Is it a board? I see like I don't know if you can see my cursor, like a dark area right there that looks like it might be. A lot of folding tables have like a handle, or like if it's a kit, it could be like the closing snap, small folding table. What do you think that? What's that? Are they just getting props from her house to maybe make another video? Like any significance to that? That's weird. But okay, so that's what they took out.
But it was interesting timing. It was interesting that they came there late at night. And sorry, I'm just checking for one other thing I wanted to tell you guys about. Yeah, they were in and they were out and they left without saying a word. So I have something interesting. I interviewed a man named Kurt Dabb. He's a former Pima County Sheriff's detective. So Pima County, of course, is where we are. He was a homicide detective there for years. He has some really interesting insight into what he thinks is going on, what was going on at Annie's, and then also just big picture what's going on with the Pima County Sheriff's Office, because a lot of people have questioned whether they're really prepared for an investigation like this, mistakes that were made early on, things that the sheriff has admitted to. Why did they open up the crime scene so early? So it's interesting to get this insider perspective because he still knows people there and he was there for a very long time. Kurt was. So I want to play this interview that I got with Kurt for you guys. So,
Christy, I see your comment about Brian. I was saying on my last live, his skin is like baby bottom smooth. He has the most perfect skin. Like, it's crazy. I was noticing that. I know, Tomboy. I was watching JLR also. I mean, even if nothing's going on, I am fascinated by the environment out there, like the landscaping and stuff. Looks interesting. I saw them walking through it and everything. JLR actually walked too close to a cactus and he was like, yelling, ow. And I think it hurt for a little while. So he got pricked by a cactus because he wasn't paying attention. I haven't seen, has anybody caught anybody out there live, any wildlife showing up? That would be interesting. Yeah, remember, they released the house, like what, Tuesday? Last Tuesday, Wednesday? Like it was super fast. Super fast. He heard chickens? Oh my gosh, that's funny. I wish I had that clip. Oh, he does allow them a road trip out to Arizona. If you guys don't know, Lori and myself and another one of our friends, we took a road trip out to Delphi. So we have footage about that. So if there's anywhere close to us, we're going to be road tripping it. Okay, so this guy in the flannel shirt is a former, I think he's former law enforcement for sure. And he's going to give his insight on the investigation so far.
Kurt, you worked for Pima County Homicide for how long?
7 years total.
And how long were you at the department?
I was at the department for a little over 20 years.
Okay. So thank you for talking to me.
Sure.
Just with your experience and knowing the area locally is really helpful. I just want to start with the most recent thing. Last night I was out there at Annie's house, and we saw 3 deputies come, and they had not a ton of equipment, but one bag and box. They went inside, and they were inside for about 3 hours. Okay. We saw flashes, definitely camera flashes from different rooms in the house. What do you think was happening?
Well, they were obviously sent back there to find something. How that something came about, I don't know. You know, I'm sitting on the outside like you, but it could have been through an interview. It could have been through some of the forensic stuff that they had sent out to be processed. So there's a myriad of reasons why they could have been back there. But suffice to say, you know, at least they were back there, you know, following up and continuing the investigation.
The one I saw was wearing blue gloves.
What do you think they went into Annie's house for, you guys? So, you know, they're getting probably cell phone forensic footage, health data forensic footage, or forensic data. You know, that blood evidence that was in Nancy's house. They're getting things back, and then they're like, oh, let's, you know, they're also getting messages from the ransom notes. So they got a ransom note for the second one on Friday. Was there something in there that pertained to the sister's house? Because I believe that's the reason they keep going back to Nancy's house, is whatever they find out from these messages from the kidnappers.
Okay. Do you think they were just taking pictures?
Well, I mean, you got to think about it again. Should be treated as a crime scene, you know, whether it's Nancy's house or Annie's house. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're not going to leave any evidence that contaminate the scene. So that's why they were wearing gloves, I'm sure. But what they collected, we don't know. Yeah.
I didn't see them they brought one brown bag out, but he didn't seem like he kind of tossed it in the car. Like I think it was more maybe what he was, some kind of work he brought.
Could have been, you know, it could have been scraps or garbage. They could have collected, you know, some pieces of evidence in there. Maybe they were fingerprinting, maybe they were collecting DNA, maybe they were simply just taking photographs. And that's the stuff, you know, that they may have brought out. It could have been trash from, you know, their processing, or it could have been pieces of evidence.
Are you surprised that they were just doing that now? I mean, it's been 7 days.
Right. Well, it's not really a surprise if you think of it in the grand scheme of things, where you're furthering an investigation and you're getting more information as it goes. So you may have to go back to the scene of the crime, or other places that you just discovered may have been part of a scene of a crime. I think what my concern is maybe that house should have been processed the same day as the first house. And I don't know if it has been. I don't have any inside information.
Interesting. He thinks Annie's house should have been processed completely, just like Nancy's house should have been. Do you guys agree? You guys are talking about the coyotes. I did not hear any of the coyote sounds from JLR's video, but I will tell you, we have coyotes here too, and I have heard them. So yeah, I know that sound. The bag wasn't taped shut or anything. Yeah, so he was saying it could have just been like trash or like, I don't know, who knows, their equipment or. Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that when it's like pitch dark out there, what the sounds were like. This is an interesting thought. Antone, is it Anton Evalone? Am I saying that right? Antone Valone. Hello and welcome. Yeah, what if she never left? So I have heard some speculations, like some options. She could have never left the mom's house. I do believe it was said that the brother-in-law brought Nancy home alone, right? It was just him and her. I believe that's been reported. I've heard someone speculate, what if someone was waiting in the house, like hiding in the house already, before she got home? That's an option. And then I was watching a clip of somebody showing an aerial view of Nancy's house. It's really a super, like, it's a big house for someone to be living alone in, but she's lived there for 50 years. So, you know, that's her home. But they were making the point that she could be in one part of the house and someone could come in through another part of the house and she could never hear it. I'm getting stuffy. I hope I'm not getting that cold that everybody on YouTube seems to be getting. I'm not claiming it. I've been not claiming it for about 3 days. Wouldn't her pacemaker have record if it's working still or not? Oh, yes. I don't think I saved this clip. Oh, what is that YouTuber's channel? Is it Christine Randall, something like that? She's popular. One of her last videos where she was discussing this case, she had a conversation with her mother and her grandmother, and I believe her mother had a pacemaker, and her mother did not have it connected to like a watch or anything like that, but she had a device next to her bed. And so she was explaining that she said her pacemaker is always recording. And what a pacemaker does is it keeps your heart in a steady rhythm. It makes sure it doesn't go too fast and it makes sure it doesn't go too slow. And she said if your heart does go out of rhythm, either too high or too slow, it will shock you. Now, I think it's a shock that, you know, you might not, I don't know how much you notice that or not. Does anybody in here have a pacemaker or know anybody that has a pacemaker? Excuse me 1 second. So I thought that was interesting because, I mean, if I was frightened, terrified in the middle of the night by somebody being in my house, I'm sure my heart rate is going to go berserk. So I thought that was an interesting fact that, you know, it would shock you, try to get you back into a rhythm. So I think that's an extraordinary situation that maybe could have caused some complications. Just my thinking about that. The mother in this video that I was watching said that, so the pacemaker records all day. So wherever she goes to the store, wherever she goes, she's not connected to any app or anything, her personally. I guess there's some people that could have a watch or their phone, so it's always with them, but she does not. Am I defibrillating you? No. She said when she gets home, she said every night between 3 and 5, when she's in bed, she's next to her device, and it will send all her information from her pacemaker through into the device and then to the doctor's office. So that's how this one person's pacemaker worked. So Nancy's could have been different, but I think it's safe to say 100% her doctor's office was getting that information. So that's something they're not telling us. You know, they have that. You know, they went to that doctor's office and they got all that information about the pacemaker. So I'm sure that they know the time that it stopped working, if that's the case. Oh, Lucy, you crack me up. Oh my goodness. Okay.
But from the outside, that's kind of what it looks like, is maybe that stuff wasn't done first and, you know, they had to go back because they did get some type of information.
Would it be normal for just 3 deputies to show up? And they didn't put any crime scene tape up.
Right.
It kind of seemed low key. Whereas like at Nancy's house, when the FBI came back, it was a big production. What does that say?
Well, it doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. You know, it could be those 3 detectives were tasked at a briefing, which they should be having multiple times a day, or at least once a day, daily, because you're getting new information in. So it could have been simple as, you know, a sergeant or a lieutenant or a captain saying, hey, we need to go back to the house and get this. Let's keep it low key. We don't want cause a lot of trouble in the neighborhood. There's already enough ruckus going on, you know, at the other scene. So maybe that's what it was, just to go in low key and not make a big disturbance.
Is the timing strange that they went at night?
No, because you got to go when you find the information. So maybe it was something they just discovered yesterday in the afternoon. They had to have a briefing and formulate a plan, a course of action, and then they went back. So that stuff could happen at any point in time.
You saw the latest message from Savannah?
I saw the message last night.
Yeah. What do you make of it?
Well, again, being from the outside, but using my training and experience, thinking back on the, you know, numbers of homicides that I've investigated, I don't think it's going to have a positive outcome, you know, of Nancy being returned alive. I think it was more of, this is just a guess, thinking it was more of, hey, you know, we intended to bring her back to you. Unfortunately, you know, circumstances happened, but we still need to get paid.
A lot of the former law enforcement are having that same feeling. That's the feeling I get too. I agree with that. Tomboy, you said you were looking for something. What were you looking for? And Christy, yeah, I agree. Those doctors know. I mean, I think they know the exact moment. Well, I don't know, because the pacemaker has to have a means of communicating back to the doctor's office, like I was explaining. So maybe the doctor's office doesn't know because she's out of range, but once they get her back, if, you know, they should be able to tell through the pacemaker. That pacemaker is going to be holding a lot of data. Oh, Tomboy found us some information. Let's see. Once a pacemaker is unsynced from a device, it actually takes about 20 minutes to disconnect from said device. It has to send all info to registered doctor. But if it's unsynced, Tomboy, isn't it impossible to communicate to the doctor's office? Who is this cat? Oh, the guy on the screen. He is former law enforcement. I don't know if he worked in this town or if he said he was former FBI. I cannot, they said it at the beginning. I don't remember, but former law enforcement. So we're let's see. Hi, Design Rhythm. Think of your AirPods connecting via Bluetooth. If you walk too far from your phone, they disconnect. Yes, exactly. But that doesn't mean they stop working. Right. Yeah. Just a disconnection does not mean that the pacemaker stopped working. It's just not communicating with that device that can collect the data, is the way that I am understanding it.
And we'll return, her remains to you, or let you know where they are for X amount of money. But that's just me. That's just my feeling on what I saw last night. I'm praying and happy.
I don't think the amount of money has changed, has it? Anybody heard anything about? I have not heard a change in the amount. I just heard $6 million.
I've been praying that, she is returned whole and healthy. But last night's video from Miss Guthrie, scared, caused me some concern about that happening.
It's so unusual that we have the video coming out, but then also the search at Annie's house.
Yep.
And I mean, could there be multiple theories that they're working at the same time?
Look, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. My 7 years in homicide, 20 years as a cop, investigated a couple of kidnappings, but I think for the most part, kidnappings, especially in this local neck of the woods, southwestern Arizona, a lot of it has to do with cartel-related kidnappings, drugs, smuggling, people smuggling, avocado smuggling, whatever. This is different. I don't think that has anything to do with what this case is. But then again, you could have somebody that jumped on the bandwagon right away, saw what was going on, sent a ransom note, just trying to extort money from Miss Guthrie and her family, like we did with the one or two others, one of which, was arrested. And there could be a red herring. And they're still trying to figure out where she is. So yeah, it's a bit confusing.
The area where this happened, I mean, Annie lives 10 minutes from Nancy. You live right in this area, so
Yes.
You're very familiar with the area.
I gotcha.
Is it a quiet area normally? I mean,
Nancy's and
Annie's.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an extremely quiet neck of the woods. I mean, most of the houses are on 1 acre lots. This whole area was bought by the Genemattis family back in, I think, the 40s, and then subdivided the lots. And, that's where it is. It's not like in the city proper, city of Tucson. We're on the outskirts. We're in the city. Everything's, bunched up next to each other. So yeah, it's very peaceful. The type of crimes that occur up here are, car break-ins, burglaries. Obviously, we've had a few homicides throughout the years. We have a lot of transients that live in the area, a lot of sex offenders that are in this.
I don't think it's random like that, though. Hey, some of you are coming to the green team. Typically unique peeps. Who's turning green? Beach Babe, Sleuther. Anybody else in here that got turned green? I cannot see. And no worries about the typing, Sleuther, because, oh my goodness, when I'm in chats, hot mess. Design Rhythm, welcome. Welcome to the green team. I love to see everybody in here. As you can see, I am, if you saw the intro, I am amping up my game. I want to be here more often. I want to be more routine, more consistent. And, building our community up. I'm working on getting a Discord together so I can communicate more with everybody and have that time. So let me look at, I do have my streaming pulled up on YouTube if it shows me any other names. Tomboy Charm, yay, she got a membership. And Design Rhythm, Beach Babe, Sleuther, Tomboy. Awesome. Welcome in.
Neck of the woods. So it's very quiet, but there is that underlying criminal element that, every once in a while will rear its ugly head.
Would it be an easy place to get away from? I mean, it's very dark out there at night.
It's extremely dark on this side of town. It would be extremely easy to, commit a crime and get away. You have a lot of avenues approach in Annie's neighborhood, much like mine and Nancy's. There's multiple routes to come in and come out. So we have a main thoroughfare here, Oracle Road. The highway is 4 miles to the west of us, down Ina or Orange Grove or River Road. I don't know how many, traffic cameras I see. We have a couple here, but they're not monitored by law enforcement. They're monitored by the DOT, the Department of Transportation, to monitor the traffic. And I don't know how long, they hold, video in the cloud or whatever. But those are some things that I would, be looking at. A quick avenue of escape. The highway is right here. The main freeway is right over there. So there's cameras abound. It's just whether or not, we're able to get access to them and see if there's anything on there.
You were on the inside for a long time here. Pima County.
Yes, sir.
They've been under the microscope. A lot of people are questioning things that they've done. Do you think they're prepared for this?
Well, look, when you're conducting an investigation such as this, there's a lot of things that can go right and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You're getting bombarded. I mean, I can't even imagine. I worked the Gabby Giffords case. I was in homicide at that time. I was at the Safeway for nearly a week. And the amount of tips that come in, they range from the wackadoo to what you think would be normal, psychics. You're just getting bombarded with those things, and you have to suss your way through that to determine, what you're going to follow up on and what you're not.
I know that the sheriff, and we are waiting for a press conference, you guys, and I'm hoping it's going to start in about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to start checking for it. We'll watch the press conference together. No worries, Beach Babe. I'll see ya hopefully when you get back. Oh, okay, I got swirled. What was I saying? The live stream, we'll watch the press conference. Oh, he was talking about tips coming in. And the sheriff, whenever he would put out an update, it would be like a social media update, and they had a QR code. So you just scan the QR code to leave tips. So I thought that was pretty clever. I hadn't seen that before. Thanking Dago for the reminder to hit that like button, you guys. I haven't checked to see how many there are, but I greatly appreciate it. It helps, with engagement and telling YouTube that, we've had people in here watching and enjoying the show. So that's a free way to support the channel. I love that. Yeah, also the deadline today is 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's going to be what, 7 Eastern, I believe. So we'll also be watching for that. So I'm going to make myself available today and keep my eyes on things. If I end this live after the press conference and then something happens tonight with the deadline, I'll come back for that. I'm going to show the clip of them digging around in the water hole, septic tank hole. If it's not on this video, I have a clip of it.
I think at the sheriff's department in the past, few years since I left, there's been a mass exodus, which has drained the department of experience. I've heard things, whether they're true or not, it's just information that I've heard, is that the average experience for a patrol deputy is like 3 years. That's a baby cop. Right? a year in academy and field training, and now you're out on the street, mistakes are going to be made. And I think that has happened the same thing in the homicide unit, is all of the tenured men and women that worked there that had years and years of homicide experience working half of what the city of Tucson got every year. So we're looking at between 15 to 20 homicides a year. We used to investigate when I was in. Now they're averaging in the county maybe 4 or 5 a year. And the detectives that are in homicide, that makes them less experienced because they're not having the exposure to real life homicides, just because you're in.
Yeah, but I don't think the local police are in charge of this one. I think the FBI is. What do you guys think? All right, is he only talking to this guy through this whole thing? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see if he gives any other insight.
This is one of the things that, you know, I learned is you as an investigator, you take on, you know, this information. You're learning about people's patterns of life. So you're learning about the good about them. You're learning about the bad about them. And I'm not saying there is anything bad about, you know, the victim or any of the suspects or anything, but these are things that you have to take into account. And you really have to get to know patterns of life. Where do they live? Where do they work? Do they go to church? Do they go to church in person? Do they go online? Who do they go to dinner with? Who are their friends? Who do they call in the middle of the night? Who do they talk to when they're having problems? These are all things that initially and should continuously be done throughout the investigation. And I think, you know, there's been a lot of talk about looking at, you know, Annie and Tommaso. Well, that's a normal thing that you have to do because their family, they're closest to. From what the sheriff said in the first interview, Tommaso was the individual that dropped her off. And a couple of days later, he changed verbiage and said family members. Well, I mean, take that for what it is. It could have.
Yeah, there's been a couple things that seem like just wording, but that they have changed as I'm talking about the police, the sheriff, when he gives updates and stuff, you know. Sometimes it gets more specific. Sometimes it gets more vague. I think they bounced around between the sister and Tommaso brought her home. A family member brought her home. I think they moved to family member after everybody started speculating about the brother-in-law. Not sure. What are we sharing here? Yes, thank you for dropping those links. We got Lucy Morningstar. You gotta watch her channel, and Mike. Last 24 on the mic. And Christy, someone dropped Christy's channel. Christy, where we're getting all the video footage of surveillance cameras and interviews and things like that. We appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. We are a community here and supporting each other, supporting each other's channels. I love it.
Been a miscommunication during the initial press conference that he held, and then he got, you know, different information later. So, but I just think that, you know, I'm not going to say the ball was dropped because they've done an amazing job. They've garnered a lot of information, and again, with the help of, you know, the media, I think mistakes were made, but they're not overcomable. It's just they're having to go back. And again, that's not that big of a thing either, because like I said earlier.
Of course, Dago's channel, the True Crime Cafe with Dago. I guess it's not it's not that I don't bring your channel up, Dago, because I'm ignoring it. I just feel like you have like a big successful channel and I'm a little peon shouting out your bigger channel, but it is, you know, love of our community and sharing. So yeah, we should always share and brag about each other's channels as much as possible. So, but I always say, if by chance someone just stumbled in here and has never seen Dago's True Crime Cafe, what are you doing? You're missing out. I know, Dago. Oh, I think I'm not going to own it. I'm not going to own it, but I apologize for all the sniffling that's going on. I think it's like there's a YouTube virus going around. We're all catching the YouTube cold.
As the
Probably because I traveled, right? You can't avoid it.
investigation progresses, you're going to get more information and you may have to go back to the scene.
Do you think that they're having people take lie detector tests? I was thinking about that this morning. Is that a tool they would use?
So I worked at the agency for a little over 20 years. It's 7 years in homicide, 2 different stints, one 3 years and one 4 years. Out of all the homicide investigations that I've been a part of, I myself have never had anybody successfully even take a polygraph. There's not a lot of polygraph readers out there or administrators out there. It's not utilized in court. I think of it as like a preliminary breath test during a DUI investigation. Yeah. It's going to give you maybe reason.
That's interesting. I like to hear somebody that's actually was part of law enforcement talk about it that way. You know, I don't personally, I would never take a lie detector test because of just those reasons. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, if you pass it, they'll say, oh, well, there's still all these other things. If you fail it, then, you know, oh, no, Canadian cat lady, you caught the YouTube cold also. No. It's spreading through these YouTube streets. I'm just being funny about that. I'm going to check if there's anything set up for this press conference. So let's see. Oh, I already have it in there to search. This is 3 days ago. What if I put today? Today. Nope. Happening now. Still 3 days ago. Okay. So, let's watch the, and I don't think I watched this whole thing, but when they showed up at the house to poke around inside this manhole. Well, I had a manhole cover, but it's like a septic tank or water tank or something like that. Probably, I don't know, probably septic. I have to see if I have it. There it is.
Park in front of the home. That caught everyone's attention. Now, not too long ago, within the last 20 minutes or so, we saw an unmarked vehicle with law enforcement drive up. About an hour and a half ago, we had a sheriff's deputy come up, park in front of the home. That caught everyone's attention. Now, not too long ago, within the last 20 minutes or so, we saw an unmarked vehicle with law enforcement drive up. The two spoke, they got back in their cars, and then we saw yet a third member of law enforcement walk up. 3 people walked to the back, 2 to 3 people walked to the back, and you can see them now. And they are what our drone team is describing to us. The Fox flight team is describing this as possibly a manhole. I heard Jonathan say that it could be some sort of water drainage. Either one of those is possible. We're not quite sure, but they've been poking around in there almost like they're looking for a sample of some sort. Looking into this area. We've been kept back just a bit, actually. Usually when they have some sort of activity here at the site of Nancy Guthrie's home, we're often pushed back. The media is pushed back so they can do their job. Clearly, they're not concerned about that right now because we've all been allowed to stay as law enforcement continues its work to the back. About an hour and a half ago, we had a sheriff's deputy come up, park in front of the home. That caught everyone's attention. Now,
okay, so I think that happened yesterday, definitely over the weekend. And Astro from space. Hello, you're new here and you subbed and hit the like button. I appreciate that. I am glad that you found this channel and welcome in. Welcome, Astro from space, everybody. Bittersweet nothing. Hello. What about the other son-in-law? He works. Oh, Savannah's husband. He works for Bill Clinton, and look who's testifying this week. Yeah. I know. I also heard that that other son-in-law's name was in an email in those files. So thanks, Christy. Okay, so that was just a YouTube short showing the them poking around in there. Now, I heard that they had a special tool. Someone was talking about describing the special tool that they use, like if they are perhaps searching for a body, if that's what they were looking for. I mean, what else would they be looking for? What do you guys think? He did work for Bill Clinton. Yes. Hey, Hemisphere. I don't know if you heard me say hello earlier. Hope you're having a good day. Blushing. Oh, that's funny. Oh, here we go. This one. This is.
And you can see that the sheriff's office is back out here again, and we know that they have been using a hole and going into what looks like a septic tank here on the property. There was like a manhole that they pulled off, and they had a pole, and they were looking in the septic tank. They've been here for about an hour. We have our drone up, so I should get some video for you guys later. But that's really been the main focus from what we can tell of what they've been doing here. This, of course, comes after last night. I was up super late. They were at Nancy Guthrie's house. I'm sorry, not Nancy Guthrie's house. They were at Annie Guthrie's house. I'm at Nancy Guthrie's house now. They were at Annie Guthrie's house last night for about 3 hours, taking photos inside. You could see the flashes going off, and they were there until late last night. So investigators are still out and about. The sheriff's office has said there's no media briefings planned for today. Yeah, that's the latest. I'm gonna try to get you guys some drone video soon, and I'm gonna kind of go back and forth between Nancy and Annie's house. Hey guys, so I'm outside Nancy Guthrie's house right now, and you can see that the sheriff's office is back out here again, and we know that they have been using a hole and going into what looks like a septic.
Okay, that was him just describing it. I thought he was gonna show it, but all right. How many of you were in here last live when we were listening to Maureen O'Connell, the former, she was the blonde lady, the former FBI agent? I just loved her. And I found another interview of her. I hope I saved it. Talking about this case. I gotta find my playlist again. One moment. Not that one. And it's not Brian Etten, so don't worry. Is it called? I didn't write it down. It might be this one. I think it's this one. I know I'm not sure.
Special Agent Maureen O'Connell, welcome. Special Agent, I like cops. They have really hard jobs, but you only get one chance to do something for the first time, like search a home right after a crime. I mean, you can go back, but it's never the same as immediately after the crime.
And we like prosecutors too, by the way. But you're correct in your assessment of the situation. I think the problem was initially that it was a missing persons case, and that was the type of case that they work probably more than any other case that they work. However, once that sheriff's deputy saw that blood, it should have been, we're shutting it down, everybody out, don't touch anything, etc. Some law enforcement agencies have a different set of protocols than the FBI does. But in California, almost all the police departments, we all work together. You know, we have a beautiful relationship with all these different entities. And it's really a wonderful thing to see.
That's interesting that the FBI works very closely with all the major, I mean, California's probably got a lot of big city police forces, so maybe that makes a difference too. You know, she's pointing out that this crime scene wasn't exactly locked down and treated the way it should have been initially, and it's not unusual to go back in it, like if you're getting more information. But my thinking is that every time they get one of these, so twice they've gotten these messages, these ransom note messages, it almost seems like the message was telling them to go look for things, right? Is that why they were digging around in the septic tank? Did the message tell them to go look for something? It appeared that one of the messages told them about the floodlight being broken. So I could imagine a lot of people will, like, sometimes they tuck those floodlights because sometimes they're not very aesthetically pleasing, you know, and you want to keep they'll tuck them inside a plant or at the bottom near a plant. So maybe if they're not on, they're not noticeable. So maybe it didn't get noticed. What else did they look for? Oh, supposedly, I think it was Friday night, they went up on the roof. Did you guys see all that footage of the officers up on Nancy's house on her roof? And supposedly they found a camera? Like, what? If there was a camera on that roof, then they should have footage of her getting home. Don't you think? Don't you think? So supposedly a camera was taken on the roof. Like, how is that missed the first time if you're completely searching the house? I mean, I guess you don't think to go up on the roof. There was also mention of Nancy's Apple Watch. And I heard someone discussing that I don't know where they got this information from, so maybe you guys can help me out. This might have been something that I missed, that they know that they were in the house for 41 minutes. That's curious. How do are they using her pacemaker to tell that time? Are they using well, no, they can't be the garage. I'm trying to think. From the time maybe one of the cameras gets disconnected to the time her pacemaker disconnects, that I'm trying to think of, like, what would you use for the beginning time and what would you use for the ending time? Who cares? Timeline, baby. Timeline. You're trying to figure out the timeline for crime so you know what happened. Hey, Seahawks fan. Congratulations. I was thinking about you yesterday. And let's see who's leading us. The Telemarket Daydreams. Oh, wow. Hello. If there's no subscription, it overwrites every so often, but it was definitely a camera. Yeah. That's what I was giving my own personal perspective about it with my cameras. Like, they still record and stay for a certain amount of time, even if you don't have the subscription. All right, I'm looking at Twitter, see if there's any updates. Anybody, do any of you have anything pulled up to see if the press conference goes live? I'm still seeing the same kind of headlines like family says return is the only way to have peace. Search for Nancy Guthrie enters second week. Oh, I see a billboard. Have you guys seen a photo of the billboard? Let me see if I can share this. It's just a tweet. So you can see, it's not very big, I'm sorry, but it says Nancy, it says missing person in big white letters on red, and then Nancy Guthrie, and then age 84, height 5'4", weight, and then it's got call the FBI, and it has her photo. And they did say that they were putting up those billboards. What are we telling Lucy to do? Don't dare her, she'll do it. All right, back to Maureen. I love her.
But when we come in, we have, as I said, very strict protocols that we do not deviate from at all. And, you know, you saw that when the cavalry rolled in to Nancy's house that day. And people have been asking me ever since, why did they take the car then, the other night? And I said, well, because when the FBI comes on, we want to look at the warrant. What's in the warrant? The warrant probably said, yes, search the entire residence, the curtilage, any outbuildings, any vehicles. And, you know the drill. You've helped with those many times yourself. And then when they said, did you guys already process this car? How did it get back here? And they said, no, well, we didn't think it was part of it. That's probably why that was the impetus behind that car being processed.
All right, Special Agent, real life is so different from the movies. I mean, you know that. I know it a little bit. Ransom notes are actually not common in modern day kidnappings. And I'm curious, in this country, not South America, not Mexico, but in the United States, how often in your experience does the kidnapper get the money and also avoid apprehension? Because I never saw it.
No, they're not good at avoiding apprehension. That's the good news for the most part. But I worked narcotics and gangs in Los Angeles for 19 years, so I saw some of those kidnappings that you would traditionally see more of in South America. Like it's very common if I have 2 kilos of cocaine and it either gets ripped off or the police sees it, I'm still on the hook to pay that dealer back for that money. And I've got to come up with it really quickly. So that was one of the type of kidnappings we happened to see. But it's interesting, Trey, because all the really seasoned homicide detectives and the people you really respect at work that do a fantastic job, one thing all of them said in all...
Sorry, I got to back this up for a second.
At work that do a fantastic job. One thing all of them said.
I know, we're going to get through it.
And the people you really respect.
Okay, sheriff says no suspect has been identified. FBI is offering $50,000 reward for any information. Supposed ransom note had 5 p.m. Thursday deadline. Next deadline is Monday. Family released second plea shortly after Thursday deadline. Okay, we've already discussed all that. All right.
At work that do a fantastic job. One thing all of them said in all these kidnapping cases that we worked was they would ask the question, does this offender have a predisposition or proclivity toward violence? And in this case with Nancy, the answer is a resounding yes.
And how does she know that? Because of the blood at the house, I believe is what she is referencing. And yeah, Lori, I saw your comment about Matt Lauer. Yeah, Savannah was like, Matt Lauer used to be on the air with Katie Couric, and then Savannah might have been one of the ones to come in and replace her. And yeah, he got involved in that whole mess, and I just think he went off the grid. So, hello, Audrey. Let's see. see some other comments, and someone was asking why we care about celebrity crime. This isn't, this channel right here is a true crime channel, and all the mods and green team in here, we gather to follow, analyze, and discuss true crime cases. So welcome if you're into that, and if not, thanks for your opinion. Yeah, design rhythm, the 2 deadlines. I was kind of speculating earlier that like maybe the first deadline was like to respond or to respond back with what do I want to say? The how are we going to do this? And then the next deadline is payment and exchange. Seems like it. Hello, Audrey. I think I said hello to you. I saw some other new people come in. Welcome, badass. And all right, let's keep going with Maureen here. Oh, she said something that made me think of the Idaho 4 case. Now I can't think of what it was. What did she just say? I don't know. It'll come back to me.
And they say that if that's how this case starts, we're in a world of hurt.
Let me ask you about that. Let me stay with the psychology of it. Profilers, behavioral.
I agree with you, Dago. I don't like to pick on people, but yeah, this poor. We'll just say Bendito for this host. Things do seem to be a little crooked. Kidnapping is a crime, whether it is rich or poor. And I think she called this guy maybe he was a former prosecutor. Obviously now he's a news host. Yes, it was the delay. Someone had said something earlier connecting it to Idaho 4. Oh my goodness, I can't remember. Sorry.
Scientists, they can be incredibly helpful. I use them, but I typically use them when I had run out of leads or did not have a prime suspect in mind. Could they can they still be helpful here in this case under these facts?
Absolutely, 100%. And one of the best profilers, or 2 of the best, are 2 of my dearest friends, and I co-host a podcast with one of them who I was just on the phone with, because one of these letters, this last one, is addressed Dear Samantha, not to anybody else. And we know Samantha's got the money, but I thought that was strange, so I called him, and he thought it was very telling that it's Dear Samantha. What kidnapper who injured your mother is going to say, or Savannah, what kidnapper is going to say dear?
That's interesting. That's interesting. So this new letter is addressed specifically to Savannah and Dear Savannah. What do you guys think about that? Does that signify a relationship, like someone that possibly knows her? Is it showing sympathy now that they're at the point they're at, if this truly is just a recovery of the body? It's more personal. It seems more personal, and the first letter must have been more general. Yeah, it could just be, yeah, definitely she's the one that has the money. Maybe she is the one that signed the response. She's been the more outspoken one. Interesting to know that, though.
That's that one word jumped out at me. I immediately got on the phone with him, and I didn't tell him what was surprising, and that jumped out to him also. So I think, Trey, to your point or your question, we technically would use them further on down an investigation also. I think it's much more of a practice now to do it early on because they can be so impactful in such a powerful way. So yes, they're working with every aspect of this.
Well, I mean, in a kidnapping case, time is so important. I might bring them in unless I had an immediate suspect.
I missed it. Who are they talking about bringing in? Are they talking about the FBI? What did I miss? I was reading some of your comments. Where's Mike's? Their chat GPT that they used to write the ransom letter got an attitude change. That's funny. And remember, if we laugh around here, it is not at the victims, not at the families. It is just, you know, when you're talking true crime, it's always doom and gloom and sadness. And we need to laugh when things are funny sometimes, just to have fun with each other and lighten the mood when we can. Why haven't we heard from anyone at KVOA? Is that the other news station? Are they the ones that got the fake one? They might be the station that got the fake one. I'm not sure. I also heard that this might have been somebody speculating, and I can't remember where I heard it at, but that KOLD got the ransom note first, and they didn't go public with it, and then they gave it to TMZ, because you know TMZ will go public with it. Okay, Tomboy, I'm scrolling up. And it says 3 original letters sent out, 1 to TMZ, 1 to KOLD, and 1 to the original station Savannah worked at. Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't really heard that one talked about. So yeah, I don't know, but not sure. Using Copilot. I'm not seeing anything for a press conference.
Like a husband, like a boyfriend, which frequently it is, I would take advantage. And by the way, just so the whole world knows, the FBI is willing to help state and local law enforcement, even if it's not going to be prosecuted in federal court. So if there's ever a doubt, bring them in. Special Agent, thank you for your service to our country.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will.
All right. So nothing too shocking or major from Maureen that time. The one we watched last week, I thought she really gave a lot of insight. I think her speculation is like some of the other FBI agents former FBI agents that we've seen talking about this case, that it's more of a recovery and that they're working on getting her body back. I don't know. All right. What else did I have on my agenda today? I was thinking that the press conference, that there would be a press conference starting, but I am not seeing that. So maybe look into Mary Carrillo, who replaced Savannah at the Olympics. I mean, there are a lot of speculations out there. So what do we have? We have something could have happened at the sister's house. Could have just happened at the sister's house. Maybe she, and then the whole, we drove her home and all that other stuff is just off base. Just speculating here, different ideas. Maybe she got brought home and someone was hiding in her house. Maybe it was truly a it could be a political kidnapping. I did hear that she was very, I haven't looked at her personal Facebook page or anything, but I've heard people say that she was very outspoken politically. Someone was speculating because if they were in the house for 41 minutes, what are you doing in there? Looking for something? Were they looking for documents? Were they? I don't know what her husband did. What did her husband used to do? Let me see if I can find that out real quick. Should I use Copilot? Should I use ChatGPT? And herself. I wonder what she did. Nancy Guthrie's husband worked as I knew this, a mining engineer. Because didn't they used to live in Australia or something? I thought the kids, or at least Savannah, was born somewhere else, and then they moved to Arizona. He was a mining engineer. That's crazy. All right, what did Nancy do? Nancy, a Bible teacher and author. Oh, wait, no, there's other Nancy Guthries. So that might be the wrong one. Yeah, there's two distinct individuals named Nancy Guthrie, so you have to be careful. Her mother, there we go. This says, here, I'll share my screen. Found an article here. How many of you think it's a local person? Good point, Tomboy. Do you think it's a local person, or do you think it was somebody sent from a political organization? Someone even mentioned the Olympics, right? Going to the Olympics is a big deal, and I'm sure it's highly competitive. I'm sure it's based on seniority, though. Like, I mean, if I was working at a news station as an anchor and I was the most senior person and I didn't get to go, I would be mad. But maybe there's a younger person that was wanting, who knows? Yeah, do you think it's a local random person? Do you think it's a family member? Do you think it's an outside stranger? Okay, I am wanting to share this. Whoop, that one. Okay, see if we can get some background on Nancy. So her husband died June 10th, 1988, leaving her to finish raising 3 children alone. And she was 46 at the time. Savannah was 16. She found work at the University of Arizona. And the son is a fighter pilot. I know we knew that. Annie is a poet and a jeweler. That's interesting. And Savannah went into broadcasting. Okay, so it just says she worked at the university. And I was right. They were born in, wait, I don't know if they were born, but her husband's mining engineering took them around the world, including Melbourne, Australia. Oh, Savannah was born there. So I knew I read that somewhere. Oh, Savannah's only a year older than me. Oh, a year younger. Oops. She's a year younger. Then they moved to Tucson, Arizona when Savannah was about 2 years old. Wondering if it says anything about her relationship with her sister. Nancy worked for the University of Arizona from August 1990 to January 1st, 2007, first as spokeswoman for University Medical Center and later as associate to the vice president of university advancement. As part of her duties, she coordinated the Center Stage program, which brought in musicians from the university and beyond to put on monthly lunchtime musical performances at the hospital for staff, patients, and visitors. She also served as program director for Med Camp, the U of A's annual introduction to the medical field for select Arizona high school students. In recognition of her work, Nancy was elected president of the Southern Arizona chapter of the Public Relations Society of America in 2000. I think people that are saying she was very political must have been reading about that other Nancy Guthrie. So whenever you look up her name, there are two famous people with that name. All right, I'm interested. I want to read a little bit more about her. Let's see. Retired U of A Vice Provost Elizabeth Irvin said she was working in marketing and communications for the College of Fine Arts in the 90s when Nancy was brought in to help them broaden their reach beyond our own walls. She said Nancy would lead regular committee meetings on how they could improve and expand their messaging at a time when the university's various departments were doing great things, but in an isolated, siloed sort of way. Irvin said she and her colleagues looked forward to those meetings because Nancy kept them upbeat and fun. She was a good leader, she said. You would have never have guessed the woman was in the early years of a new career after the death of her husband. She was always extremely positive. She was an amazingly positive spirit. Former reporter Carla McLean said she often interacted with the public relations team at University Medical Center during her career covering healthcare for the Tucson Citizen and the Arizona Daily Star. She described Nancy as level-headed, accommodating, gracious, and totally upfront. She was great to work with. She understood what my job was as well as her own. When you encounter good people in life, you know it right away. And Nancy is a very good person through and through. There's a kindness and an aura around people like that. I agree with that. I always I can tell when I meet people. I don't know why. Like I just get an instant vibe, and I'm usually right. For me, for my taste. That's what makes what's happening now so unfathomable. This is a woman I'm certain had no enemies. I just don't get this at all. It's a very hard thing to understand. So they're responding to her kidnapping. They've had a candlelight vigil and prayer service for Nancy at the St. Philip's Church in the Hills. It's an Episcopal church. They had that on Wednesday night. She said, I just feel like she's a revered member of this community. Oh, now they're talking about Savannah. They're talking about Savannah now. So yes, this says that Savannah worked at KVOA TV Channel 4 about 30 years ago. Oh my goodness. See if there's any other information in here. Just talking highly about Nancy. Oh, the Facebook page for St. Andrew's, the church, offered a prayer. Dear God, we pray for our dear friend Nancy and her family in this scary time. We know you're always with us as we wait in the unknown. Please be with Nancy and allow her to feel your presence. So very nice prayer that they left on there. All right, so a little bit of background knowledge about her. Kane! Every time I see you. Kane, how are you? Don't tell me how warm it is. Don't tell me how warm it is. It's 3 degrees here. It might be a little bit warmer today. I'm not sure. Not sure. All right. Can you guys let me know in the chat if you are seeing anything, any updates? I am not seeing anything on Twitter about a press conference. I know they were really late the last time they did one. So let me look on here. Let me give one more right here. Nancy Guthrie press conference today, and everything is from 3 days ago. Huh. What do you guys know? It's okay, Kane. I predict we probably have, let's see, it's February, March, April. Maybe in April we will see a 70-degree day, and that's pushing it. It'll probably be May. Maybe April. We'll see. We still get snowstorms in April. We could have a 70-degree day in April, and then we could have a snowstorm in April. So you never know. You never know. All right. Before I go, I had a couple of, I guess I have a list, but we'll see, of some thoughts that I had. Or maybe we talked about them all as I was going through this. Yeah. Oh, I heard something from Nancy Grace must have been talking about this case again, and I just heard someone say this, so I didn't hear it from Nancy's show herself, but it sounded like Nancy was probably speculating, or someone on her show was speculating, that the front door camera on Nancy's house, that the suspect could have already been in the house. So maybe went through the back door, walks to the front door, opens the door, and just sticks their hand out to get the doorbell camera so that they're not seen on it. I mean, that's plausible. That makes sense to me. So everything else we kind of talked about. Like, I was wondering, like, why is there no other suspect vehicle seen in the area? They haven't said anything about one, if there is one. So 41 minutes in the house. How did they calculate that? I kind of speculated on that earlier in the show. What were they doing in there during that time? Are they looking for something? Because she probably didn't put up that big of a fight, right? Not to last 41 minutes. They were doing something in there. Definitely a motive for this, to me, not something random. So, all right. I think I am ready to clock us out. We're clocking in and clocking out here on Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique, every day at 11:30 Eastern Time. So hope you guys will join me back. I'm going to keep searching for updates on this press conference. If they do one, I'm going to hop on here and stream it. If not, I'm going to probably go over to watch Dago if he is going live, you guys. Make sure everybody goes over there. That's usually if he's not already live, he might have already started. I'm not sure. Sometimes it's after 2 in the afternoon. I'm going to keep following this case. Idaho 4 is my main case that I want to talk about, but you know, doing this every day at a consistent time. There are also some other cases that I want to start incorporating. I'm super interested in the Long Island serial killer case and Delphi for sure. And if you saw moderator Lori in here earlier, she has been all over the Delphi case, so I know she's going to help me a lot with that too. So, yep. Christy, join over on Dago's show. Please hit that like button on your way out. And if you're watching this on replay, please leave your thoughts. I asked a lot of questions during this with what your thoughts and opinions are. So leave your thoughts in the comments, please. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining me today. I love you guys. I love this community. Oh, good. You're still listening, Lori. Yeah, we're going to have some work to do. I'm going to rely on you for some Delphi information. We got to get together and do that. Yeah, green team. We turned 5 more people green in here today. So that's awesome to see. Thank you to my moderators. Always appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll be live if that press conference ever pops up. So I'll see you back here tomorrow, 11:30. And for now, we are clocking out.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Practically unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep, we crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep, we crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep, we crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and wild to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.